Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, ImperialDane, with another Propagandacast for you, my marvelous viewers. And today we have another match on Angoville. Yes, I am sorry, but I just recently had a match I thought had some interesting points. And well, most of my other submissions already are, well, recently on Angoville. And are either very long or perhaps I feel are a bit too repetitive in the action. So let's have a look at things. This is of course Angoville, and I'll just skip the familiars of the map this time around, and if you want to know them you can check the last match or any of the other matches, I think. In this case, in the upper corner we have a series of numbers. I don't believe I'll repeat this. 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, not necessarily the most serious player. I believe he was around 14, 15 on the ranking status, but nonetheless an unknown Captain Hauptmann of the 246th Grenadier Division, and who but made to face him Captain Dane of the 4th Infantry Division Able Company. And let's get this started, shall we? No point in hanging around, mulling about. Barracks going up as usual. We see the Wehrmacht quarters setting up, although not in such a manner as it may actually block the firing ranges of the MG42 bunkers, so that's always good. Barracks going up all nice and steady. Engineers moving ahead, nothing much there. Engineers of course weren't quite the same level of troops as the German pioneers. Pioneers being, besides engineering troops, they were also rather heavy hitting assault troops, whereas engineers were more rear guard troops and rarely saw actual frontline combat, I do believe, and certainly weren't used to assault buildings. And yes, indeed, we have a bit of lag, which will affect a bit of things during this match, mostly my management of troops, and will cause a few unfortunate losses. Fuel point being seized, strategic point likewise, and we see this wrecked out pickup truck in this small garage. Pioneers marching ahead and beginning to lay down barbed wire quite immediately. Volksgrenadiers out for the 246th. Not much otherwise. Riflemen moving northwards through this small, I'm not entirely sure what I call it, but courtyard, I suppose. And the Volksgrenadiers apparently just standing around, although they have decided to make a move once more, going for the strategic point while I go for this, seemingly having decided to focus only on the west, which is certainly not an entirely bad idea, although then again I might recommend at least trying to take some of this. But that is his decision. Further barbed wire going down, quite intent on securing this strategic point, it seems. Volksgrenadiers noting that someone is seizing this strategic point and perhaps moving in, or perhaps making a move from a victory point. Who will know? Not me at this moment, at least. Second rifleman team hitting the field. Riflemen already up here taking this victory point, and the Volksgrenadiers have gone for the western victory point. Again, all quiet so far, no contact at all between the sides. MG42 team hitting the field. Tripod mount, meaning of course increased stability, and less recoil, meaning increased bursts and increased accuracy. So one of the two modes that the LMG42 could be employed in. The MG42, the second being the bipod mount, which is the LMG42 representing in the game. And we see the Pioneers going for the strategic cutoff point, but instead finding themselves staring down into M1 Garand rifles and suffering badly for it. Wounded and shot in the gut. Not a pretty fate. MG42 setting up in a cover position while the Wehrmacht forces, or not, they did not set up, but instead troops are seizing this strategic point and the munitions point. And we see a Schwimmwagen, quite surprising actually. Schwimmwagen charging right into my riflemen and running right past them, apparently deciding it does not want to face that. Perhaps wanting to do a bit of reconnaissance and ascertaining where my forces were. Certainly not a bad idea. Certainly also now spotting where I am doing anything. And the MG42 still holding here, not there apparently. And we see a jeep on the way. I'm of course not entirely sure if there's a MG42 there, so I begin moving upwards. And I do believe I'll be coordinating an attempt at seizing this strategic point, and we see no movement there actually. But something will probably be up there, and there we go, a second MG42. Very little infantry though, only one Volksgrenadier team. And for some reason my rifleman ran right into the firing arc of this bunker. I'm not entirely sure why, but it did not go well. Beak, jeep, not beak, jeep. Beak, good lord. Moving in to flank the MG42, although not having not much luck with that. Riflemen and engineers being suppressed, and jeep trying to get out of there, but finding itself with a rear full of machine gun bullets, and riddled with those, blows up, ejecting the crew to all sides, and a bit of parts here and there. Certainly not good. Volksgrenadiers moving in, being illuminated by the light of the wrecked jeep, and a bit of movement here. Still not much in terms of troops, and we see the Volksgrenadiers moving over towards the east. Supply yard going up, as I'm at the suspicion he might be trying to rush for something like a Puma or a Panzer, in which case a weapon support center won't do me a lot of good. I need something like an anti-tank gun. Riflemen getting ready again. Engineers trying to stop the pioneers here, and they succeed. Volksgrenadiers going for this victory point, but nothing else, and absolutely no support. In fact, not even trying to set up here with the MG42, or even keeping the Schwimmwagen nearby for a bit of early warning or reconnaissance, or even fire support. I of course am possibly expecting that there might be an MG42 here to somehow cover this attempt, but as I'll soon discover, there's only one team of Volksgrenadiers, and my large squad of riflemen here will deal with that quite easily. Engineers finding themselves under heavy fire from MG42 and Schwimmwagen. Schwimmwagen, not a jeep. It's an amphibious jeep, in fact. Amphibious car. Volksgrenadiers finding themselves under heavy fire, and will have to retreat. Riflemen setting up in this building. Quite a nice position. In fact, 5 windows, and of course 2 there, meaning a good cover approach to this area, which can certainly make it very difficult if your enemy has first dug in there. Seizing this victory point and going for defensive operations, infantry company, and I immediately begin laying down mines, since I suspect I'll need to be aggressive, but at the same time I want to be able to protect my own territory and make it a lot harder for him to actually take it. So plenty of mines going down. In fact, 100 munitions worth already, since I have not much else use for it. And we see a half track. Not entirely sure if there's a pack out yet, so I go for a half track to quickly dash past the MG42s and such. We'll have to see how that goes. One rifleman team staying behind alongside the engineers, while the rest are moving towards the half track. Schwimmwagen driving around, patrolling. Volksgrenadiers joining up, but not much else. And we see the first pack out, and a Kampfkraft center going up as well. Well, then again, awfully passive from the 246th so far. Only one infantry team now being equipped with MP40s, meaning they'll certainly be cut apart in any offensive maneuvers against even a slightly defended enemy. The Schwimmwagen certainly won't be doing much good either. Now coming under fire from the half track. One infantry team aboard, dashing forwards.
They're going after one of our munitions points.
Keeping one engineer team in to equip the guns, and of course act as a repair team in case I need to do so. Opening fire on the Volksgrenadiers, quickly killing one with the 50 cal mounted on the half track. Quite a decent one, in fact. Schwimmwagen taking some damage from the riflemen pulling back then, and we see the pack setting up. Half track taking fire, and for some reason, due to lag, I swerve it right in the wrong direction, and the half track is taken out. Had hoped to be out faster than the pack, but alas, no luck. And instead, all I have is a wrecked half track. Tragic, and of course I'm forced into a full retreat. Veterancy 1 up for the infantry. 3 Volksgrenadiers with very little health, although Veterancy 1 will see that it will be slowly healed. And pioneers running into one of many mines. Not too well for them. Continuing to reinforce this position. Of course, nicely dug in, but victory points are not on his side, at least besides 1 point. Going for a weapon support center, since I suspect I'll be needing something a bit further to dig him out from here. Going for a mortar to bombard, or at least drop down a smoke cover so I can rush past the defenses. And I'm quick to lay down some further mines, as I find in my experience a lot of players do tend to walk into the same spots expecting no mines as well, so it's an excellent spot to lay down a mine if you already had one detonate. And we see a half-track from my opponent as well, so a bit of mechanized action on both sides. Wehrmacht patrolling a bit back and forth past the wreckage of the half-track. No attempt at actually salvaging munitions from it. And we see the Wehrmacht half-track moving in, me attempting to lay down mines. And we see an enemy mine, in fact I hadn't seen, and luckily just avoided. But my riflemen are quickly under fire from the light machine guns mounted on the half-track, compelling my riflemen to seek cover inside the building while I move up my anti-tank assets to deal with it. And we see a bunker going up from 246, further reinforcing his very defensive mindset. Let's have a look at what he's up to. Terror doctrine already, it seems. Probably seal, but not much else. Half-track finding itself under fire, and there we go. Half-track blown up, 2 shots as well. Half-tracks weren't really meant to sustain anti-tank fire, so that's always something to remember. Grenadiers running into one mine, already heavily wounded, and charging right at the Full Grenadiers, expecting perhaps an easy kill. Full Engineers retreating, but they're riflemen and hitting the mine, and the entire team is gone, only costing me 50 munitions. A bit of fighting in the west once more, an attempt at pushing forwards. Mortar setting up. Riflemen taking heavy fire from Wehrmacht and MG42 and MP40 equipped Full Grenadiers, who haven't been reinforced at all. A bit curious, in fact. Full Grenadiers charging in, taking a bit of fire. Will the mortar fire at the enemy positions, or will they rest? Who knows? But there we go, perhaps there we go, hitting right on the MG42 team, though not wounding, or killing I mean, certainly wounding them. And we see a medic bunker up, and the MG42 sitting up right next to it. A bit of a bold move certainly, but I think perhaps you should avoid trying to place your medic bunker too close to your opponent, because that basically means that, for example, I will be able to spot, oh right there he has a bunker, well let me bomb it. Usually you want it a bit further back, so he'll only notice the presence when he begins to see his medics running around. And we see him here beginning to cut some of his own wire, opening up another point, apparently expecting his medic bunker with an MG42 to hold the line now. Grenadiers hitting a mine again. Riflemen occupying this lovely building, opening fire on the Grenadiers, who are certainly taking a fair bit of fire. Still only veterans you want, so they aren't so protected against small arms fire. We see a steel grenade being thrown at the building. 3 riflemen being killed despite getting out and quickly getting in again for some improved cover, and it does not look good for the Grenadiers, who are still on the outside and of course facing the sun with the most windows, and are forced to retreat. Another failed attack, currently only seemingly throwing men piecemeal at the eastern northern half there. Engineers beginning to seize this point, although coming under mortar fire from this Granatenwerfer 34, and killing my engineer team. A bit tragic. And we see some of the Grenadiers being taken back, while American medics are rushing forth to take back some of my wounded. Still very few infantry teams, but we see the Full Grenadiers move forwards now from the north. Engineers heading into a German